Hi, it's Sandy Parker. Welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Let's talk about blending tools for a second. I know we all have 100 of them. Well, at least I have 12. I figured, what the heck, I might as well talk about them and go over what I like about them, what I don't like about them, what I do wrong with them, what I admire in other people, and how they handle them, and just kind of play with them as we go, and we'll just kind of talk it through. First of all, I have a range of homemade daubers, ones that I didn't do anything to. It's a makeup sponge, brushes, tools that you buy from manufacturers, and stenciling brushes. So I thought what I would do is I would kind of take them all off, and just one at a time we would go through and decide, you know, what I like, what I don't like, why I use them, why I don't use them, things like that. So I'll just slide these off to the side, and they'll just go from here. Now the first thing that I want to go over is the homemade dauber. Now this was a piece of plumbing. It was like a fitting for plumbing, and I took a bottle cap and I hot glued it in there and put a makeup sponge inside there. I didn't have a ton of luck with these, but I wanted to show you how it worked and whether or not I thought that I would recommend it to you. So I wrote on the top of each one of these exactly what you're getting, and we'll start with this one. This is the homemade dauber. And you always start off the side and go on to the paper. And you're supposed to do it in a circular motion. At least that's the things that I've heard when I've done it. I think what I'm going to do is kind of half of each one of these cards so you can get an idea of them. Okay, the thing that I didn't like about this one is the edges left little lines. Hopefully you can see those little marks in it, and no matter what I did when I cleaned these up, I just couldn't seem to get that to go away. So we're going to put that in the didn't love it category. This is a fingertip dauber. You buy these in sets, and they're very handy, and they work really good when you're doing little things. And in this case, like this edge, you don't get the marks like you did with the other sponge, you know, the line marks that I got when I used the other sponge, but I seem to have to always work at consistency with these. But if you're only doing if you're only doing lines and little pieces, I think these were great, but again, only for little places. So that's the fingertip dauber. This is a wood-based dauber. It comes in a set of a bunch that it's pretty much like the fingertip dauber, but I still figured out, you know, we'll play with all of them, and you get an idea of maybe one of them is an idea that will work better for you. The other thing, I wanted to tell you with each one of these too about how they feel in my hand. I really liked the homemade dauber because of that big plastic base that I made. This really made it so it fit well in my hand, and I like that a lot. These little daubers, they're nice, but my hands don't seem to hold them as well. Okay, remember, I'm doing these videos for people that, for everybody, but really primarily for people who have physical limitations and need different tools than the rest of us. Maybe of you, not me. I'm one of the ones that needs a different tool. So I'm making sure that I explain that to you. So if you're somebody that's looking for artist impressions on things, that's not what you're getting. You're getting an impression of someone who has physical limitations explaining how tools work for her. So I just want to make sure I'm clear on that, because I don't want you to spend your time watching the video going, oh my god, what's she even talking about? So that's where I'm coming from. These look like marshmallows. They don't feel like marshmallows. They are really hard. I mean really hard. They're from Darice. They're Darice foam ink pods, not pads, pods. And we'll play with it. The reason they come in a box of, like, I don't know, 18 or something, and the reason I bought these is I thought this is perfect because they're wide, and wide really works for me because I like to hold on to something wider. And when I used it the first time, I didn't like it because it takes a lot of ink, and the reason the color is different is I used the part that had yellow on it. But the reason I didn't love this as much was because it took so much for it to get the ink to sink in. Now that I have a layer of ink in there, it works a lot better. I like it a lot more than I did the first time I used it. In fact, now that I've played with once, I might play with the pink side too when I change to a pink color, because that really did change the way I feel about these. I was gonna get rid of them because I just had no idea what I was gonna do with them, because I couldn't get the ink, just didn't want to sink in. Okay, I'm gonna change colors now and go into oranges, I think. This is Tupelo Designs. It's a tool that I've talked about a lot in detail. The pad comes off of it, and it's the pads that you get when you have the Tim Holtz distressing tools. But this tool itself is made by Tupelo Designs LLC. It's a little store, and they make them themselves there. And I absolutely love the way this feels in my hand. It's just so nice to work with it because when it's in your hand, you can really hold it well, and you have great stability, and that is really important to me. And I'm sure some of the rest of you know what I'm talking about. It's just not that easy to find something that is that when you hold it, you feel like you've really got something that's stable, and that you're not going to drop or shoot out of your hand. And that's the image I get with this. I love this tool. I think it does a great job, and whether it's a small area or a big area, I just really love the way that it gives me a nice, clean, not spotted looking finish. Okay, let's go with the Ranger. There it's using the same pad, but this is the circle, the one that their distressing tool, and we'll go with it. Now, I don't mind his tools. The difference is that I've got my fingers. I don't know if you can, I mean, obviously you can see how screwed up it is when I'm holding this. It's because the part that I have to hold is so small. I can't hold it up here like other people can. And I could hold it down here, but I'm going to end up with my fingers in the ink. So it's the way I'm holding it that messes this up, I think. It's a good... It is a good tool, but I don't know how I ended up with these little blobs off to the side. Oh, maybe I got a rip there. Well, that's probably how I did it. Okay, now we know. Okay, let's go with just your basic makeup sponge, and we'll talk about how these work for me. Well, I don't know if you can already see the problem I'm having with it, but I can't bunch this sponge up like other people can. You know, other people can, you know, do all kinds of things with it, you know, in the way that they hold it or the way that they fold it. I'll try folding it. I don't know if you saw that, but I just stuck my whole hand in the ink. So a makeup sponge for me is a total fail. No matter what I do on it, I can't get anything. I don't get a clean look. I don't get, I just can't hold it well. I end up with ink all over me, and I don't recommend that. Let's talk about the Ranger square version. It's very similar to the Ranger, the round one, in the way that I hold it and the problem I have with holding it. I wish that their handle was a little bit thicker so that I could hold on to this better, but They do a nice job. It's just a matter of it's not that comfortable for me to hold it. This is something that the Frugal Crafter, excuse me, I had a little trouble there. The Frugal Crafter, Lindsay, absolutely loves these. They're made by Judykins, and they're a little brush, and it's specifically made for this kind of, that's out of the way a little bit, for this kind of work. The thing that's nice about this is that you get a much lighter finish. You're looking, you're not going to get a really bold look. It's great when you want to just change the background of your whole card, change the whole color of it, because you can easily do that with this, because it just makes such a nice faded look. Keeping in mind, this is exactly the same ink as this. See the difference that this kind of tool brings to it? I do like this. Here's what I don't like about it. These little hairs are always coming out. They're everywhere. They're in my projects. They're in my ink pads. I don't like that. But I do like the concept of that. So when I was looking to, when I was, trying to find the right tool for me, I decided, well, maybe it's the matter of the brush is the problem, and I should go with a different kind of brush. So my friend Linda, hope you're feeling better. Linda's not feeling very well, and Linda suggested I get one of these stippling brushes, and she really likes these, so I decided I would get one and try it. So we'll give this a try. The thing that happens with me with this, and I think I'm using it wrong, is I get this weird brushy look. Okay, I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. Linda, tell me what I'm doing wrong here. I'm definitely doing something that I keep getting these weird little, I don't know what we'll call them. Do I just keep going over the surface more? Is that how I get those out of there? Because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm getting these weird, see these little spots that look like a tiny amoeba is living on this paper? I'm doing something wrong. I know it's me. But I like the brushes. I like this bigger plastic piece to hold on to. But I don't like that I get these little weird amoeba looking things in my, I don't know what they are. So that's the stipple brush. Then there's the stenciling brush. And the stenciling brush came in a pack of, I think, 12. I got them from Amazon for just about nothing. They were so inexpensive. This is a soft suede color. This is the stenciling brush that I'm talking about. Okay. These brushes are good for stencils. Horrible for this. Although they did say that you could use them for this technique. Oh, it's just a dirty mess. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I know it's always my technique. I will take the blame no matter what. It can't be the tool that makes it look like someone did something dirty on this. It's just gross. But there's my idea of what I can do with a stenciling brush. It's not pretty. Last but not least, this is a Stampin' Up sponge. I didn't cut it up. They always cut it in quarters and blah 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 when everyone else does it. I didn't do that because, as you know, I can't hold on to little things. So I figured I would just use it with dark colors and going off the page. This is how they do it. I'm gonna, oops. It'd be better if I had my ink snapped shut or open. Start off the page, and I'm going to go across, and I'm going to do it like everybody else does it. And theirs always comes out magnificent, and mine comes out a lot like the stencil brush. I don't know what I do wrong. Honestly, I know it's me, but I just wanted to do this with you so you saw the reasons I choose the tools I choose. When I started this channel back in October, the reason I started it was because I buy a lot of things to find the one that works for me. And I didn't want anybody else to have to do that, because frankly, it's not fair that there wasn't a voice on YouTube to say, by the way, if your hands don't do this, then you need to look at this tool rather than that tool. So, oh, I got a little bit of ink on me. Isn't that a shocker? So let's talk about these in detail. The Stampin' Up sponge. I'm sure that if I could hold it differently, or if I could smear it differently, that I would get a better look than that. But frankly, that's what I got. It's not too pretty. The stencil brush. Well, that's just a complete fail. So we're going to put this over here with tools that I absolutely cannot use. The makeup sponge, it isn't horrible, but I can't really hold it right, so it's a fail just because I can't hold it. The stippling brush. The stippling brush, other than those little bit of amoebas, it does pretty well, but I do get those weird little amoebas in there, and I'm not sure if I'm just not brushing it enough. I'm not sure. I'm going to put that in the middle category. Not bad, not good. The Ranger products, the Tim Holtz products, the distressing tools, whatever they call them, they work well, but they're uncomfortable in my hand. So I'm going to put them in the middle section, just because if I want to do something, I don't want it to hurt, and those are uncomfortable for me. The Judykins brush, I really do like this brush. I'm going to put it in the pass category because of the way it has that bigger handle, but I don't like those hairs. So I'm going to just tell you, that's a problem. The homemade dauber, it's not horrible. It feels good in my hand, but I don't recommend, for the price difference of buying a tool, I don't recommend that you go through the agony of hot gluing and making this mess. So I'm going to put that in the middle category. The fingertip dauber, it's fine for small areas. So we're going to put that in the keeper category, because it definitely is something that you can do in small spaces. But you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to want to do a huge, big, anything huge with it. The wood-based dauber, same thing. It's nice, but you wouldn't want to do anything huge with it. The Darice foam ink pod, I want to try that one more time with a pink or a red or something that will match the color I already have on there, because I want to see if it has to do with the fact that I already had ink on this one, and that's why I liked it this time, because I hated it when I did it the first time because there wasn't enough ink on it. So we'll just shove this off the side. Yeah, I think the whole problem was, here's my recommendation on this one. I'm going to put it in the middle category. If you buy these, they're not that expensive. You get, like I said, I think I got I don't know, 12 or 15 it was at a stamp show. But you have to use it more than once. You have to get ink into your pod, for lack of a better word, to make it work well for you. So I'm going to put that in the middle category, because it's okay, but it's not great, because you have to use it more than once to get it to work. And then finally, the Tupelo Designs blending tool. This tool, by far, for me, has been the best one I've ever worked with, because of the way I can hold it in my hand, and it has the nice Ranger square, or I guess you call it, it's not square, it's, gosh, my mind just broke. You know what it is. I don't know why I can't think of the word. Anyway, I really do like this more than any other tool, because it has this big handle. It does a really good job. It makes a nice clean image. Every time I get a nice clean image. So the Tupelo design is maybe $4.95, $4.50 in that arena. It's not an expensive tool, but it really does have a handle that works well for me, and I recommend it above all the rest. The ones in the first category all are great tools, but all for different reasons and for different scenarios. The middle category, they're acceptable. the far right, definitely we are, or the ones that have the sponge. This area, we just those are fails. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped you to come to a decision about maybe which one will work for you. And please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I really appreciate you watching this video. I have a new video coming up in the next few days that's going to be binding a book using my book binding tool that I've never used. And Melody, one of our viewers, really wanted to do a project where we used our binding tools, because she has one and she's never used hers either. And so that's coming up, and we're going to be making some note cards in the near future as well. So I hope you like this video. I hope you tell your friends about it on social media. Please give it a thumbs up. There's the thumb, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.